Hello and welcome to Bosch Powertools. So today we have GSB 13 RE kit. So we'll try to understand what are the various uses of the kit and what are the various applications we can use this for. So a very useful kit, a very I would say productive kit for day-to-day applications. A lot of things can be achieved by the kit. So what are the different applications for which the kit has to be used, and how well you maintain it and do with the kit is something that is very, very important. So before we get into this, let's try to understand what's there in the kit. Okay, so first and foremost, as you see, this is the box, a pretty hard box, which means that this is perfectly fit for all the outdoor activities, and it can also take some drop test. I think yes, and it's going to do well. Yeah, and as we are looking on this, you would find that there is a QR code out here, something very important. This QR code is basically for you to register into Be Connected. All right. So this QR code you can scan through your mobile and then register yourself for Be Connected. So what's there in the tool? So let's unbox and see that. All right. So here is the tool, the whole kit. So let's start with the tool first. So what's there in the tool? As you can see, it says GSB 13 RE Professional, Bosch of course. So GSB stands for impact drill, which means it can do all the applications in a brick wall, metal, as well as for wood. What does the numerical 13 stand for? Numerical 13 stands for the size of the chuck. So this is a 13 mm chuck, and if you see closely, there is a mention of 13 mm on the chuck itself. So this is a 13 mm chuck. All right. Yeah. And if you look at the back of the tool, so here it's clearly mentioned. So what are the various applications it can do? This says you can drill on a brick wall to the maximum size of 13 mm. So that's the maximum that you can do. The tool is also very, very suitable for working on wood and metal. All right. So let's try to understand what's there in the kit. All right. So we have spoken of the tool. Perfect. So there is a sprit level. There is an adjustable wrench. There is a plier. There is a hammer. Different sizes of sockets. Then we have different drill bits. So first and foremost, we have 4 drill bits. That's for wood. Then you have for masonry. Then you have for metal. So here we need to understand something. The wood drill bits, even though we have only 4 of them, so but it can drill the maximum size of 25. So that's the capacity of the machine that it's got. And similarly for metal, we can go up to 10 mm in metal. All right. And masonry, we already told you it's 13 mm in masonry. Right. Okay. Then what do we have? Then we have various screwdriver bits. So these are PH, posi, and Torx. All right. We also have a utility knife. There is a holder here. This holder is for all the screws as well as for sockets. So this is a multi-purpose one. Okay. And then we have plugs. So these are plastic plugs with screws for doing various kinds of drilling and fixing applications in the brick wall. Of course, then it comes with an handle. So this handle is for the tool with a depth gauge. That's to increase the safety and the stability when you're working on a hard surfaces. Measuring tape, of course. We missed out one thing, and that is the wattage of the machine. The wattage of this machine is 600 watts, a very powerful machine for our day-to-day activities that we want to do, right? So we talk about the tool now. So the tool right now, what we have here is GSB 13 RE. Okay. So the tool is not complete right now for use. So we have 2 things given here. One is the handle and the depth gauge. So let's use both of them onto the tool. So how do we fix them? Very simple. All right. So there it goes. And then the depth gauge. We use the depth gauge because we need to find out as to what depth we are drilling with the help of a drill bit. So that's how the depth gauge is given. So the handle is already fixed. So you can tighten this knob here. All right. So I am ready to use. Okay. If you are a right-handed or a left-handed, so the knob can rotate from this angle to this angle. So the choice is for the user to decide. And the depth gauge can always keep varying. So you need to push up, you need to push down. So both of them can be done. And there is also a marker here. So there is a mark for every centimeter. So that decides on what is the depth. You can do it for the depth gauge. So now there is this red knob. So which denotes as to what mode you should select depending on the base material. And the base material for us is mostly wood, metal and brick wall. So if I am going to work on the brick wall, so I need to push this red trigger to this extreme, and there is a sign of a hammer here, which means the tool is ready to take on the impact action, and this is ready to work in any brick or light concrete. Whereas when I come to this side, I move it. So on this side there is a drill bit logo here, which means the tool is ready to work on wood and metal, right? And then we have this switch, which is forward and reverse, which is mostly used for your screw driving. And then on this tool, if you see, this is the trigger. So this is on off as well as trigger, and this button is for your lock. So this is a lock on mechanism where I have locked the trigger. So that means the tool is going to run continuously. How do I disengage? So I have disengaged this, and this is popped out. So that's how you get it. So let's try to fix a drill bit onto this. And how do I fix that? You need to take out the chuck key. That's this cable here. So I take out the chuck key. Let me pick up a drill bit. So I put the drill bit inside and I manually tighten it. So what we have right now is a 3-jaw chuck. Okay, so there it's getting tighter. Yes, and all the 3 holes of the chuck needs to be tightened with the chuck key. So there we go. 1, 2. So it's all tightened. How do you check? Just lift this. Perfect. All right. So let's run the tool and see how it is. Before that, we need to understand about the socket and the cable. So the socket is a normal 2-pin socket, which can be used for all the common plug points that we have. And socket and the cable both are ISI, and they both are BIS compliant, right? So let's drive this. So before that, let me loosen this up. And let me change the direction for my convenience. So please pay attention to the noise level as well as the RPM. So both of them would increase gradually. So you would find there is this black portion on the tool. So this is a rubberized gripping. So this is given because you get a very smoother feel when you handle the tool, and most importantly it helps you in providing fatigue free working because of this rubberized grip. All right. We might get into a situation where we want to identify what are these different bits for and how do we identify, because all of them more or less look the same. So how do we know that which drill bit is being used for what purpose? Is it for metal, wood or for brick? So a very, very simple technique I will teach you how to do that. Okay. So let's try to understand this. I'll pick the first drill bit. So this is for wood. Okay. So let's understand about the wood drill bit. So how do you identify a wood drill bit? So this has got the sharpest cone here. So if I'm going to press with my finger, I feel the prick. So that means this drill bit is for wood. So all for wooden applications. And the very purpose that this cone is given is basically to get yourself centered into the wood. All right, centered into the wood. So that's the drill bit for wood. As simple as that. So among these three drill bits, there is a drill bit that's going to be totally blunt, which means I'm trying to press it. No, It's okay. I'm not getting hurt. I don't feel any uncomfortable situation. So this drill bit is for your brick wall. All right. And there is a third drill bit. It's somewhere between sharp cone and somewhere between a blunt cone. So I'm trying to put this. Yes. So there is a slight irritation that I feel, and that is this drill bit is for metal. Okay. So again, we try to understand all three of them. So the one with the sharpest and the cone, this is for wood. The one that's totally blunt, this is for your brick wall or light concrete. The one in between them, so that's on the medium sharpness, this is for your metal. So that's as simple as that. Even if you have misplaced something on this thing, with the sharpness of the drill bit, you can find out which is the correct product or the accessory that you need to use for that particular application. So we get into some applications. So this is GSB 13RE. So we are going to drill in wood as well as do screw driving in wood. So there's two applications we do. So I've already got the handle on, so which means it's for more sturdier grip and also more safer work. So this is a 13 mm check. So I'm picking up a wood drill bit to tighten this up. So here we go. Even though I'm tightening with hand, it's not fully tight, so we need to take out the chuck key and tighten it from all the three directions. So here it goes. So let's see the direction that we are trying to use for this. Yeah, so that's right. So as you know, the wood drill bit has got a pointed tip. So this is for pivoting, and also it gives a very clean drill. Always remember, you need to start this at a lower RPM. So here we go. So we drill this. So now we get into screw driving. So we fix this in. We fix the socket. So this is a PH socket, PH screwdriver head, and then we are taking a small screw to tighten this up. Always at a lower RPM. So it's done. So we can untighten it. So you see, we can retighten this up. So this application over here is more for tightening. This is tightening with the help of a hex screw, and here we have a hex socket as well. So let's loosen. This can also be used for self tapping. So we're trying to loosen this first, and then we tighten this. So that's, you need to make sure that the groove is sitting properly. So there it goes. So that we start. Perfect. We will work in metal now. So the tool that we have is GSB 13RE. So let's work on this metal here. So we put the glasses for safety. Yes, switch it on. So we can do one thing. I'll put this on the lock on mode and then start working. So, we have GSB 13 RE here and we will try to drill on a brick wall here. So, this is the brick wall out here. So, few key things on the tool. Yeah, the tool is perfect. So, move this knob onto the hammering mode. I did that, all right. So, this is the masonry bit already fixed. So, this is a depth gauge. So, you need to decide what is the depth of the hole that you want to drill. It is this. I slightly increase the height or the depth of the hole. All right. So, here it is. So, that is the depth of the hole that I can get. Okay. So, we will start drilling. So, I put this on lock on mode. We try to understand a very important part of the Bosch kit, okay, and what is that? So, when you bought a kit, obviously you wanted to use it on some kind of various applications. So, this is an important application that we have here, how to drill onto a wall and fix something. When I am saying fix, it is basically to anchor something. So, what do you do after anchoring? After anchoring this, you can hang your curtains, wall hangings, clocks. It could be any of the sanitary stuff that you want to do, any electrical electrical fixings or attachments that you want to fix. So, how do you do that? So, we know this is a brick wall. Okay. Now, first and foremost, we need to drill a hole and then fix a anchor. So, two components out here. So, this is a plug, so which goes inside the hole that you drill, and this is the screw. So, what we do is we drill a hole first, okay, and then we put the anchor inside and then the screw goes inside to tighten it up. So, a part of the screw would still remain outside, that means it would protrude from the surface. So, it is on that surface you can do some hanging, or you want totally flushed, then you can do the screw totally inside, so that it gets totally flushed with the wall. So, that is the thing that you can always do. So, before you drill a hole, the most important thing that you need to find out is the size of the anchor. So, the size of the anchor, this is an 8 mm anchor, this is a 8 mm drill bit as well. Okay. So, they have to match. So, the drill bit and anchor diameter has to match. So, that is what we are trying to do now here. So, we drill a 8 mm hole and then fix the anchor. As we go along, we explain more of that. So, first let us drill. So, we put this in the hammer mode. Yes, it is on. Yeah, perfect. So, let us drill. So, the first activity is over, we have drilled a hole and this is good enough. Second, we need to fix the anchor in it. So, how do you do it? Just very simple. If you find this is slightly more dusty, just make sure that you remove the dust. Okay, this is the right way to remove the dust. Okay, and then just plug in and insert it with your hand. You see, now this is totally flushed. So, the anchor is totally inside. All right. After this, I told you with this we are not able to achieve anything. Okay. So, the screw has to go into this, so that you want to hang something and things like that. So, the anchor is pretty good. So, it has a lot of load bearing capacity, and so you also need to use the good quality screws, so that it can take the load bearing. So, what I do is you can put this inside. All right. This is not good enough, you still need a screwdriver to tighten this up. It should have gone fairly inside, so that there is no ply. Okay, this is good enough, it will still take a lot of load, but I want this to go further inside. So, I do a few more rounds of screw driving. Right, now look at this is a perfect thing. All right. So, it can take very good load. Right. So, now we have fixed this, and this can take some good weight. You can hang something on this or you can fix something onto this. So that's how it works. So that's the anchoring process on a brick wall with an impact drill. Hello and welcome back. So we will talk about some frequently asked questions on these topics. And these questions are very useful to all the people who want to use power tools and do various kinds of applications and various kinds of usages in wood, metal or brick for that matter. So the most commonly asked question is, what is the difference between a GSB and a GBM? So this is a typical nomenclature that Bosch follows. I'm sure you go through the catalog or you go through any portal, then you understand that these two are listed and more or less they look the same, but you are not able to find the finer difference between them. So let's try to understand what they are. A GBM is basically a very, very basic rotary drill. Okay, so which means when I'm saying a rotary drill, so all the GBM machines are suitable for working on wood and metal. So I'm saying again, it's suitable for working on wood and metal. So what is a GSB? Okay, so GSB is a tool that can work on wood and metal, that's for sure. There is one more component that's added to the tool, and that's the impact mechanism. And the impact mechanism is through ratchet and sleeve, which means that it's going to create small impacts like this when you're drilling on a brick or a light concrete. Okay, so when we are drilling in brick or light concrete, so a normal drilling will not make you go inside the material. So it is this impact force that's very crucial in creating that groove that we make on the brick or a concrete. So it works like this, and it is this impact that helps us in drilling into a concrete or a brick wall. So there's another popular question that keeps coming up quite often. Is GSB tool good enough to work on light concrete or on a brick wall? But the question is, does it work on a concrete? The answer is yes. Okay, but the answer yes comes with an asterisk. What does it mean? So all the GSB tools, so the very nomenclature GSB is an impact drill. So all these impact drills are 100% suitable for working on brick wall, and they can also be used on light concrete, but that means that you're drilling on the light concrete sometimes during the day, right? Not a regular thing. But if somebody wants to do regular working on concrete, okay, we strongly recommend please use our Bosch hammers starting with GBH series. So any GBH hammer is highly recommended for working on concrete beams, pillars or columns, right? Yeah. So the next question that comes up frequently to us is, what are the best practices to keep the tool long lasting? All right. So what we need to do to keep it long lasting? This is like saying what are the preventive maintenance that we need to follow to make sure that the tool gives its maximum life or maximum benefits to us. So first and foremost is the tool has to be kept in dry and cool place, which means it should be away from moisture. That's something important. Second is it has to be away from dust also. So what do we do? So every time the work is done, so make sure that you're putting the tools back into this hard boxes and seal them properly, right? So that's important. There can also be instances, let's say you're not using the tool for months together, all right? So you have used it today and probably you're picking up the tool after 3 months or 6 months or maybe after an year also. So what do? So what we do is, in that case, you don't start the tool, you pick up a tool and start drilling. No, you don't do that. So what you do is, just observe me what you do. This tool does not go onto the job for work, okay? So you need to run at no load speed, right? So I'm stressing again, you need to run at the no load speed. So this is what I do. So what have I done now, right now? I triggered it on, all right? it was at a very low RPM, so let it run in low RPM for a few seconds, and then I increase the RPM, and then I give it a full RPM, full throttle, and then it runs at full RPM for maybe, let's say, a minute or so. Why do we do that? Because we all know there would be grease on these gears, okay? So if you're not used for quite some time, maybe the grease has become slightly hardened, okay? So you need to do this in a very slow RPM so that the grease starts moving, and as the grease starts melting, and you run the full RPM. So that means with that heat and friction, the grease has got covered all over the gears that you have, and that lubrication is good enough for the tool to start running. So that's first and foremost. Second thing, so when you are using the tool after a long time, or even for what is the maintenance that you need to do before you place it somewhere, make sure you check the cables. Cables are not brittle, and they won't be brittle because these are rubberized cables. So just check the cables are okay. Just check if the switch is okay. Also, please check the chuck, okay? And most important thing is you need to keep the chuck key back into the slot. So most often people tend to misplace this. So put this back into the slot. So I think if you follow this, you have done a pretty good job for keeping the tool for a long-lasting tenure. So I get this question quite often saying that there are sparks coming out of the tool, all right? And when the first time people use it, they find the sparks and they say, oh, what happened? Is the tool okay, or something wrong with the way I'm using it? It's perfectly okay, okay? So when you use these tools for the first time, now look at this. This is a carbon brush. Slightly getting technical right now, but then that's for the understanding, better understanding. So whenever this carbon brush comes in contact with the commutator of the armature, it's but natural to have sparks on the edges, okay? That would only be for first few hours of use that you get the sparking, and once the groove settles to the same shape of the commutator, the spark would reduce substantially. So whenever you're using a new tool, not only this impact drill series of Bosch, any of the Bosch new tools, the sparking is but natural, but don't worry about this. After a few hours of use, the sparking will go away. Nothing to worry. Okay. This is something that we face in our Indian subcontinent, and this is a regular thing that we face, rusting of these drill bits, all right. It's okay for the drill bits to rust. Don't worry too much about that. If you find a drill bit slightly rusted, or maybe 50% of it rusted, nothing to worry. Why I'm saying this? Only thing is maybe the appearance of the drill bit becomes different, but functionally the drill bit is perfectly nice and good enough to work on any surfaces. It has no bearing on the working of the drill bit itself. So it's perfectly okay if the drill bits are rusted. You might find some drill bits rusted during delivery, that's okay. Or even after a few years of usages, you might find some of them rusted, nothing to worry. You can still continue with the work. It hardly matters to the output of the work that you're going to do, right? Yeah. So the question that keeps coming to us again is, what's the difference between a GSB 10RE and a GSB 13RE? Both the nomenclatures look the same, so there's only the numerical difference between 10 and 13. So for example, let's pick up this tool. So this is a GSB 13RE. So what's special about this tool? So when we see the number 13, so this denotes that's the size of the chuck. So what you have here is a 13 mm chuck, all right? And what you have here, so this is a GSB 10RE. Now this has got a 10 mm chuck. Please see the chuck size in both of them. I'm sure you will understand the size of the chucks are different, okay? So this is a 10 mm chuck on GSB 10RE, and this is the 13 mm chuck on GSB 13RE, all right? And one more difference of GSB 13RE is, so the grip here is rubberized. That's for fatigue-free working, all right? Now you see this grip, it's totally rubberized.